Hey folks, we're going to continue working on we're actually looking at the Monsters Compendium Volume 4 Eldraine creatures. Wild of Eldraine was a pretty popular Magic the Gathering world that this Monsters Compendium converts some of the MTG creature cards into D&D stat blocks. And of course, if you check in the description down below, I had developed a color mana spell point variant system to replace the Schools of Magic and spell slots from Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition when they released Mic check. All right, cool. When they released Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica in 2017, that's when I got interested in homebrewing 5e content. So as a mechanical designer, I built a color mana system that uses mana tapping with the 5 colors instead of the 8 schools. So I built that out and made that a thing, and it's doing pretty well, honestly, and I'm pretty proud of it. But let's see. The Eldraine came out, so we're going to be updating our mechanics in when the 2024 book comes out. And check. Just going through stuff here real quick. There we go. Okay, cool. So let me get this out of the way. Yeah, so we're going to be doing an update once September 2024 rolls around and the new the new Player's Handbook comes out. We're going to update all the color mechanics. Hey, I just posted I'm live on the X Twitter platform. I'm at Phil Kearney if you want to get notifications there. But honestly, the best way to support the channel is to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications here on YouTube. Because I'm here 11 times a week, Monday through Friday in the morning. At lunchtimes, Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays like this. I stream in the evenings on Mondays and Thursdays. And then I have a Sunday brunch workbench, basically, that I work. So that's 11 different times that we're working on various projects. And Eldraine is one of them. So we've basically been going through all the different creatures in the Monsters Compendium. If you want to catch this document, it's here's a link to the article and document online here. It'll there you go. It'll take you to my the Eldraine Compendium volume that we're looking at literally right here in Google Docs that you can check it out. But we're basically using this as an opportunity just to check ourselves, to see where the WotC team, when they spend their time looking at crossovers between D&D and Magic the Gathering, what do they look at? How do they consider stuff? How do they convert things? What keywords are they using? What abilities and spells are they blending into creatures that have MTG flavor to it? And how are they swapping back and forth there? So this has just been a fun little project of us breaking that down, because when we update in September 2024, it's an opportunity for us to not only improve the layout and the artwork that's in the book, but to also just stay on the bleeding edge of where 5e content is at, and to continue providing variant mechanics between MTG and D&D. So I really enjoy 5-color Magic in Dungeons and Dragons, and hopefully this will inspire other people to check it out. So if you are interested, here's the 5-color mana spell point variant rule bundle, and it's all of these books have free previews. So I mean, you can just kick through these documents as much as you want. This one's actually really interesting. The tap and tap burn. That's Knights and Tricksters, which is Arcane Knights and Eldritch Knights and Arcane Tricksters. But what's, I think, really fun here is the Elemental Key book that we created. It offers both a 5-color Magic paradigm as well as a 4 elements paradigm. So you can basically, this converts the Way of the 4 Elements monk into a half caster using key system for short rest, regaining spell points or mana or key. So it has the 4 element breakdown: air, earth, fire, water, and it uses the 3 colors of blue, red, and green to express like elements in nature. So whether using color mana in the Strixhaven, like the what are they called? The like Quandrix and the Elementalists. I forget what they're. Prismari. Thank you. The Prismari. Prismari and Quandrix primarily would be able to make use of this because of the blue, red, green equations that they have. All of the spells that exist here in their spell list, you can basically it's a long rest prep, so you can swap out your cantrips and all the spells that you know whenever you finish a long rest to be able to re-kit your monk to be able to do whatever is useful today, like any other caster should be able to do. And you would then be able to, like, if you want to be an airbender alone, then you've got 20 some odd different spells that you can choose as an airbender. If you're an earthbender, same, 20 some. Each of these has 20 some odd spells to choose from, which is far more than you need. We added cantrips as something that you could prep because it doesn't cost any mana to use that stuff. It makes it a lot more useful for you to be an infinite airbender if you have spells that cantrips that you can use infinitely to be able to bend air with. It just makes sense, you know? So all those things are in place. Plus, if you wanted to dive into this document, there's a bunch of tech in here about alternate class, like the way of the 4 elements as presented in the 2015 Player's Handbook is basically you're a monk and you get some spells. Fuck off. But that's really poor economy compared to how the tech has advanced over the years. So we include the Elemental Smite feature, where depending on what kind of element it is that you're using or what color you prefer is going to set up the kind of damage that you can deal. There's the Elemental Grace, which gives you resistances. There's the Irresistible Elements, which allows you to overcome immunity and resistances to your attacks. Elemental Avatar basically takes the different 6th level, what are they called? Investments of spells. They've got the 4 different elemental investments. There are 6th level like druid spells, and we converted those into basically into free spells that you get at 17th level to kind of overclock what your half-casting class is capable of doing. Kind of like an elemental take on the Paladin's Aura that you get access to at 17th instead of 20th. So if you want to play airbending, there's a number of different 5e supplements out there that do airbending. But if you want to do a blend of elements, then you can just actually introduce key that's devoted to the element that you want to work with. You can use this as a base chassis and add on any of those extra spells or ability things that cost mana. Just pick and choose them as though they were a spell list. If you've been into the martial power system that we've been developing, that is an additional 150 odd different powers that spell-like abilities that you spend mana on to be able to do reactions, strikes, sustained like aura effects, as well as dice exploits and maneuvers like Battle Masters that you could also freely swap in and out with the array of spells that you get here, whether you're using the Color Mana paradigm or the 4 elements paradigm. You could also use Hammer, Rock, Scissors if you wanted a 3 element paradigm. So generally, you probably want to have at least 2 different elements so that you have variety to break up your mana pool. But you can just go with universal spell points like key automatically is and just add flavor text. I'm bending air with my generic key, and I'm just going to choose air. You know, there you go. You can do that if you choose. There's a lot of ways to stir the pot. But having said all that, let's get back to work. So let's see. We have 9 more of these to go. And today we're starting with the Snapping Hydra. So let's pop open the magic card here. And we will pull this up here. So first thing we're going to do is drop down here and look at the Snapping Hydra and the kit that it has, the stat block that it has here in D&D. Let's go. Let's see. This is a CR11 critter. That's cool. Let's look at the kind of damage that it can do. So that's the first thing we want to do. Again, we're tracking the conversion of CR to the power and toughness of cards. So Magic the Gathering shows tactical damage as enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. The more mana you spend, the bigger the creature comes out as. So like if I spent 2 green mana plus an additional 5 mana of whatever, then it would come in with 5. It would have +5 +1/+1 counters. So it'd be a 5/5 creature, right? So let's see what the baseline is that they build this thing with. Hit points is 149. It's an XX creature. That's interesting. So I don't really have a breakdown on how XX works, but let's go with Do I have any gap here? Yeah, X equals something 149, which is the Snapping Hydra CR11. And let's see what kind of damage you can output. Immunities, amphibious, multiple heads. It has 5 heads. When it takes 30 more damage in a single turn, one of its heads dies. If all heads dies, the Hydra dies. At the end of the turn, the Hydra grows 2 heads for each of the heads that died once its last turn. Unless it has taken cold damage since its last turn, the Hydra regains 10 hit points for each head regrown this way. Reactive heads. For each head the Hydra has beyond 1, it gains an extra reaction that can be used only for opportunity attacks. We have extensive mechanics about opportunity attacks in the Martial Powers book, so I'm loving this. Loving this. Wakeful. When the Hydra sleeps, at least one of its heads is awake. Fair enough. Multi-attack. Hydra makes as many bite attacks as it has heads, and each does 14. 14 times head. Okay. Well, that's all I really need to do to write up about that right now, so let's skip on over that. MTG flavoring. Let's see. Let's see what kind of... it's CR11. Dark vision, passive perception. 5th. Multiple heads. That's right. Okay, so multiple heads. Regeneration. I believe regeneration is a green stat. Let's look up MTG regenerate. Look at all those green cards with regeneration. Huh? Look at that action. Target creature regenerates. It's mana. It's all... here we have one. Regenerative restored. Regenerates. Regeneration. Vastly green. Right. Nice. Green. Love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Green is a healing color in the color mana system that we use. Let's see. Reactive. Equals number of OA equal heads. That's a colorless effect. Wakeful. Wakeful is like a non ability. Bite. Shell defense. The Hydra withdraws its limbs and heads into its shell until it emerges as a bonus action. It gains a +4 bonus to AC and has advantage on strength and constitution saving throws. While in its shell, the Hydra has the prone condition. Its speed is 0 and can't increase. Its speed is 0 and can't increase. Got it. Its heads can't die. It has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws, and it can't take any other actions or reactions. Shell defense. Okay, that's pretty basic shit. The regeneration for green, acknowledging regeneration is green, that's a victory. I like seeing that. But let's take the card and see what we can do to convert it, if there's anything we can do to convert it into D&D stuff before moving on to the next one. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Ooh, neat. Steelbane Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Many and ancient treasures have been reduced to jagged caltrops by its snapping jaws. For 3 mana, you can destroy a head of the Hydra. That's basically each +1/+1 is basically destroying a head. So you spend 3 mana, destroy a Hydra head, and you can destroy a target artifact or enchantment. God, I love that. What do we do that? How do we describe that? Equals, what would that be? Equals, destroy a head. Which then regrows too. Oh, wait, okay. Equals when bite hits target with target makes a what is the let's look at, hold on, I need to look at Dispel Magic, D&D Beyond. This is going to be a Dispel Magic effect. It hits you and it basically casts Dispel Magic. Dispel Magic. How does that work? That's the easiest way to express this is when bite hits, target makes target is affected by a Dispel Magic DC. Well, I got to figure out how the spell works before I decide if I need to assign a DC yet or not. So I haven't messed with Dispel Magic in a while. How fun. Horrible effect. Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target ends. For each spell of 4th level or higher on the target, make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. On a success. Okay, so it's a CR 11 creature. So up to 1, up to 4, up to 8. No, it's 14 plus. Was it 10, 11, 12, 13? Up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's see. Up to 1, up to 5, up to 8. So that puts that at CR4. So it's 4th rank. So let's see. The DC equals 4 plus the spell's level. A fourth rank, that's about 11th level at 6. So this would be the DC equal for each spell of 4th level or higher on the target. Make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. The DC equals 10 plus spell. Okay, so it's DC 16. There you go. When bite hits, target is affected by a Dispel Magic DC 16. On hit, the Hydra spelled the head that hit dies and is replaced with 2 next round as described. Hydra will prioritize creatures with magic, with active. There. That is a fun, horrible ability. It's a CR11 critter, so that is just going to be a horrible, vicious fight. At will. I love it. Cool, so that one's done. Let's skip past that. And let's go down here into the Spectre of Night. Get out of here. Reaper of Night. Cool. Let's check it out. This is a CR12. Okay. Wow. Okay. So let's go check our list here. CR12. So how do you do? Damage. Hit points is the easiest one to look at. 142. Okay. 142. And what kind of damage can you do? Legendary resistances. Multi-attack. The Spectre uses Mournful Keening if available. Then makes 1 Hooves attack and 1 Reaping Scythe attack. Mournful Keening. The Spectre utters a keening wail, calling to those close to death. Each non-undead creature within 120 feet of the Spectre must make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. On a failure, the creature hears the wail and is marked for death. A creature marked for death can't regain hit points and has disadvantage on death saving throws, and all attack rolls against it are made with advantage. This effect lasts for 1 minute or until the creature is targeted by a remove curse spell or similar magic. Reaping Scythe deals on hit 12 plus 28, that's 40 damage, and it does a hoof strike, which is 44 damage. So it's a total of 88 damage, not taking missed chances into account. That's not our goal. 88. Whew, nice. Okay, well that's all we need that for the time being. Let's build this dude out. Legendary resistances, not said. Magic resistance. This creature has advantage on saving throws. Well, hey, let's check out its. Let's see its magic. Its color stat. Ooh, it's black magic. Black as night. Bah. Ooh, it's got an adventure, which is a sorcery. Target opponent discards 2 cards, then exiles this card and may cast the creature later on. Okay, so target opponent discards 2 cards. That could be how they're construing magic resistance. That art's really cool. Whenever Reaper of Night attacks, if defending player has 2 or fewer cards in hand, it gains flying until end of turn. Interesting. MTG to D&D. This spell, let's see, magic resistance. So the creature has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Magic resistance. Feels blue to me and white. Multi-attack, hooves, necrotic damage, necrotic damage equals, we already know necrotic damage is black energy, and I can prove it to you by going back to our lists. And again, this is something you can have access to. It's pay what you want, but if you'd spend at least 50 cents or $1 on it, that'd be fantastic if you're interested. Damage types, there we go. Black magic equals psychic, poison, necrotic, and acid damage. So necrotic damage equals black. So far so good, so what? Reaping Scythe also does necrotic damage. And deal exhaustion equals black effect. Mournful Keening. Deny healing, which equals, that's a very black effect. That's a very black effect. Let's see, Synthro attack. Yeah, there you go. That's basically all you got, buddy. So that's pretty quick and efficient. I'm down with it. Good job. And once per round is Mournful Keening. Oop, and now let's look at the card conversion. So that's the stats. That's pretty simple. Let's look at see what this guy does. So target opponent discards 2 cards. It's a sorcery effect. Harvest Fear. Jeez, it costs 4 mana. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Then exile this card. You make. Oh yeah. That's for the adventure. Harvest Fear. Is there something called Harvest Fear on the actual critter? Discard 2 cards. What's the cost on that? Like 2 in black, 3 black. 3B. Equals, maybe this is magic resistance. Alternate option. Alternate option would be targets that fail Mournful Keening are affected by Dispel Magic. DC 16. There you go. Let's see. Discard effects equal Dispel Magic. I like that. I like that a lot. I can work with that. Whenever Reaper of Night attacks, if defending player has 2 or fewer cards in hand, it gains flying until end of turn. Gains flying until... Okay. When has 2 or less cards, gain flying. When opponent has 2 or less cards, gain flying equals until end of turn. How does that effect work? A creature marked for death can't regain hit points and has disadvantage on death saving throws, and all attacks against it are made with advantage. This effect lasts for 1 minute. We'll go with while targets are affected by mournful There we go. Easy resolved. And we'll go ahead and wipe this one clean. Boop. Next up is going to be the Sweet Tooth Horror. So let's check out Sweet Tooth Horror. Get out of here. One. So let's go back to our board here. Ooh, I'm sorry. This is a 4/5. Sweet Tooth Horror, CR4, but it's stacking a 3/1. We'll go three, 1. No. So let's check out its hit points. That's the fastest way to resolve. HP equals 59. 59! Is that 58? I misread that. 58. And its damage output. Caramelization. Multi-attacks. Hook Horror makes 1 bite attack and 2 candy cane attacks. Bite attack is 21. And Jesus, this guy just deals out. It's a, what is this? A CR4? Crap. Okay, so it cracks out 21 damage. Plus 8. That's 29. 37. $15, $5, $17. Okay, well, I mean, it's in there. All right, cool. We get to walk away from that. Thank God. Let's go back to here, and let's look at our D&D flavors. Caramelization. What else you got? Acid. What else you got? Magic resistance. What else you got? Acid. If the target is a large or small creature, the horror can choose to deal no damage. Instead, the target is prone. And the horror can pull the target up to 5 feet towards itself. Yeah, that's a non-bow thing. Let's see. What is your colors, sir? Are you... it's black. Black magic. We already know from before that acid equals black. We already know that we were looking at magic resistance as black as well already. What does caramelization do? Something amazing, I bet. If the horror takes fire damage, it releases a sweet, mesmerizing scent. Each creature within 30 feet of the horror must succeed on a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw or have the charmed condition. A charmed creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Charm is manipulation, which is a black effect. Here, I'll show you. Black magic is control, entropy, fear, soul, and darkness. So let's go look at, let's see if Charm Person lines up with that. I mean, Charm Person is like a literal translation of the charming effect, right? But it happens to be a black effect. So it looks like we're on point there. It's also red because it makes you view somebody as an ally. It changes your emotional pitch towards them. And blue is just mental manipulation in general. So blue and black kind of sit together in that demure space. Caramelization equals charm effect equals black. So this guy's sitting pretty solid inside the black magic effect. I'm pretty solid with that. Now let's go check out the card. That's the fun part. Let's see. When monstrosity dies, create a food token. It's an artifact. There you go. Sacrifice this artifact. Gain 3 life. Card conversion. Upon on death, create food token. Artifact generally corresponds with black. That is true. How do we want to translate that? On death, create food token. Let's go with, let's black that out. Chef. Let's check out the chef feat. I think that's where our answers are at. You can cook special food provided you have ingredients and cook's utensils on hand. You can prepare enough food for a number of creatures equal to blah blah blah. At the end of the short rest, any creature who eats the food and spends 1 or more hit die regains hit points. Regains an extra D8 hit points. When 1 hour of work, you can, or when you finish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. It's a CR4, which is second rank, which is a proficiency bonus of 3. On death, create food token equals chef create 3 treats as though prepared by chef feet. There you go. And that's once per encounter. And that's all he's got. How long have I been at this? All right, I've got another 20 minutes to go. Hey, we're making good time today. High Fae Imposter. Apparently when I first clocked in, get back here. that out of the way. Get you out of the way, though I love you. Spectre of the Night. Tempest Heart. Why do I have High Fae Imposter down here? It's a fucking weird place for it. Let's go back up here and see if I have High Fae Imposter someplace else. Looking for it. High Fae Noble. High Fae Mage. High Fae Kindguard, H-I-J-K. High Fae Imposter, there you are. This is the High Fae Prankster Killer. Okay, cool. So this was a redundancy that is no longer necessary. Get out of here, you scallywag. Tempest Heart. Oh, apparently I just had that in there as like some sort of generic something. Whatever's. A boo boo, a blah blah, whatever. Witch. That's 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, I only have 4 left? Holy biscuits! That's super good news. Shan't be able to finish it this session. But I can get through Tempest Heart. Let's get through Tempest Heart. I've got the time. I'm going to make Tempest Heart my last one, and then we'll come back on Monday and we'll finish these up. Ah, that's great news. Maybe I'll do this on Saturday. Maybe we'll just do this on Saturday and finish that. So let's do the Tempest Heart for now, just because we can clear it from our plate. I'll cut it quits, and then we'll come back. That's what we'll do on our Saturday workbench this week. That sounds like a really nice, lighthearted activity to participate in on a Saturday brunch. You gonna load here, buddo? Yam you am. Cool. It's got an instant. Let's first look at the card itself. This is a 3/4 Tempest Heart 3/4. Do it like that. Love this stuff. It's so fun. I gotta tell you, converting magic cards into D&D stuff, it's just fun. It's just fun to do. Tempest Heart hit points equals toughness. 147. Boy. And damage is going to clock in around multi-attack, lightning antlers attack, and a thunder hooves attack. Lightning antlers is 16 and stunned. And thunder damage, so it does 30. That's fine. And this dude he's got a blue for Scan the Clouds, which is a sky effect, that makes sense. And Tempest Heart, which is green. Okay. So, how do you break down, buddy? Lightning, thunder. Lightning and thunder. Thunder is a green effect. There's a strong argument for lightning. There's barely any cards in MTG that with the magic with the description term of lightning in it at all. That's almost exclusively red. But you can make it green. I mean, you can have exceptions. You can mix it up as you want. I'm just looking for general trends to see if we're calibrating things properly. Lightning antlers, dealing lightning damage. Stun. I'd say thunder is the most likely to be related to stun effects, so I think that's fine. Reaction can take up to 2 reactions per round, but only 1 per turn. Entangling growth. Can see within 120 feet of itself. Hits it with an attack roll. The heart reduces the damage to itself by half. The attacker must immediately make a strength saving throw as beanstalks coil around it in its space on a failed save. It has a grappled beanstalk grapple. Green is accurate. Lightning call. In response to making a saving throw, the heart calls down a bolt of lightning that targets a creature it can see within 120 feet of itself. The target takes the dexterity or damage. Half as much as success. Yeah. Could be blue or green. I'm fine with that. Now for the fun stuff. Card conversion. What do you do, Boogaloo? Draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards. Trample. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Tempest Heart. Put a +1/+1 counter. Okay, so draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. That's swapping things out. Oh, once per round equals. Does this thing have legendary resistances? Yes, it does. Legendary resistances. So the tech that we're learning from here is draw then discard equals legendary resistance. Generally. That's something I had been suspecting, but it's nice to know. Draw 2, discard 2. How many legendary resistances do you have? 3 per day. Cool. What's your CR? 11? Okay. I'm cool with that. Trample. CR11, that's a 4th rank, equals 4d10. Trample equals, this is out of the Martial Powers book that we've been developing on stream, equals movement, passing through target equals 4010. How does that legendary resistance read? And then whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Tempest Heart. Let's do it this way. Cast mana 5+ equals add +1/+1. That's going to equal... How do we want to convert that? We're going to convert that into when target fails saving throw versus your abilities. When target is marked, Heart has advantage against that target until short or long rest. There you go. Cast mana abilities that add counters. Mark target for advantage on attacks. I'm fine with that. Cool. So the last three that we have is going to be Treefolk, Witch Kite, and Witch Stalker. I'm going to save those for this Saturday morning. And here in Seattle, Pacific Standard Time in America on the West Coast, that is going to be 9:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. So I suspect it'll take us an hour to process that stuff, and then who knows what we're going to do from there. But it's my Saturday morning workbench. I work on whatever I want whenever I want. So cheers. But yeah, so that's it so far for these. I'm really liking how this conversion guide is going along. Again, you can get access to this by checking in to my on my Discord channel or my Patreon here. Here's a link to the article. It's a read-only document in Google Docs. Yeah, we'll finish this up on Saturday. Here and here. Maybe we'll do this on Friday to finish it up, and then maybe while we're doing Spelljammer stuff on my workbench, we'll suss this stuff out while I'm talking about. We can talk about my session on my D&D session tomorrow with my team for the Asteroid Belt Eberron Spelljammer campaign. But hey, this was the Eldraine Creatures Monsters Compendium Volume 4 in the DMsGuild D&D Beyond. It's like $5 for 26 monsters. I don't necessarily say it's a good deal, but they're good creatures. And for me personally, they're valuable because it is an MTG crossover, so that provides me with more tech, like we've been showing here, to be able to build out more books. So that's valuable to me. I don't know if this would be a valuable resource for anyone else or not, but they're cool creatures. So, I mean, if you're into that stuff, go for it. But, yeah. I'll see. I will be back tomorrow morning. Wednesday morning. That's right. I'll be back Wednesday morning. We'll be doing more Spelljammer stuff. We're going to finish up the second part of the Light of Zaraxis conversion guide that we're putting into our Spelljammers Adventures and our Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement. That'll be publishing on DMsGuild probably Wednesday next week for reals. So, looking forward to that. Looking forward to you guys. Like, subscribe, bell icon. I hope to see you online. Laters.